Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new market update. Today we'll speak about why the market is doing what the market is doing, what to expect next. Peace talks are starting tomorrow in Pakistan, in between Israel and Iran. So far, market has been going up for consecutive 5 days because of the peace agreement or ceasefire, better said. Right now, many people are confused. Markets are rallying. We are still kind of in the war. Is it the end? Is it not the end? Some of my predictions for the future. So let's get into it. First of all, let's get an overview of the current market. So we just understand where are we right now. Okay, I love to use this one here, the marketarea.com, for free from, oh no, it's not for free, it's from Zero Hedge Premium, since I'm subscribed to them. Sometimes they make very good articles, and I like this one a lot. So let's start with this one. Too much, too fast. The tone is shifting, but more out of pressure than conviction. The pain trade has been higher recently, and after the squeeze, flows are increasing, being pulled into chasing that move. Positioning has flipped quickly. You can also see calls are coming back. We are seeing way more calls, especially if we go into cheddar flow. You can see, for example, for SPY, we have 135.7 million in call flow for today, for Friday, and put flow is 1.95. So it's still bearish, but overall, if you go into overall flow, you will see right now we have 1.1 billion in call option flow for today, Friday, and we have 811 million in put flow. So we are in that delta bullish, as you can see over here. There is a lot of buy volume coming in, and of course the main reason for that is that at the end of the day there is a current ceasefire, right? The ceasefire doesn't seem to be very stable, so therefore markets are not completely rallying, they're not completely buying it. So we find ourselves right now in a middle again, in a middle sideways zone like last update, with more confirmation towards the upside. But we need to be very, very careful, because if the ceasefire breaks down, then of course we will have a sharp and fast reversal. We will have an increase in oil, and you can see after the ceasefire announcement we had a 22.65% drop in oil. So therefore, of course, you also see a bigger drop in Dixie. The war premium and flight to safety, in that sense, premium kind of came down, right? We dropped from highest point 100 to currently 98, which is nearly 2%, right? Which is a big drop. So therefore we are promoting with a Dixie, lower prices in Dixie, and oil correcting. We are promoting growth in equities, right? That's why we saw a very sharp rise in the S&P 500. You can see we're here struggling with the sell area, which I was betting on a sell. I'm still in a put option. I'm just going to keep it open because it still runs out towards the end of the month. But since then we have gone up 4%, right? So that, of course, is 4% increase and sharp increase, which is, of course, because of the recent announcement of the ceasefire. Okay, so S&P 500 and therefore equities are seeing some upsides. Our position in the metal space is also doing pretty well, benefiting from the drop in the dollar. As you guys know, if the dollar drops, that's very beneficial for risk assets, for equities, for metals, and so on. So therefore gold is doing pretty well. Gold is currently sitting at the sell area. My prediction for the future is, if the ceasefire holds, if it goes into peace talks, and we'll see this weekend, then of course it will promote growth in gold, and gold will be a easy buy. Same thing goes, of course, for JNAC, which is the direction daily for gold. So as you guys see, I have an entry here. I'm currently up 27%, okay? And then the same thing for silver. Silver is also showing some upside. We are getting higher highs. It's not very committed. Like, you see, the market is still very, very fragile. That's also why I would not size in too big right now. So I would be cautious. Then XPT, which is a bigger positions of ours, we have multiple entries. Since our initial entry, we're currently sitting at 7-8% profit. 7.1% profit, so also very good. So sizing into metals carefully makes sense, in my opinion. That's the first prediction. Then of course, if oil stays down, and you can see it started to increase a little bit now, selling off. If oil stays that elevated, we still need to be very, very careful, okay? Because oil is a very good indicator right now in terms of fear and greed in the market, or more so peace or war in that sense. And the sharp sell-off, of course, shows an opportunity to peace, and of course, because of the ceasefire, but it stays elevated because there's the possibility of continuous escalation, and therefore even worth escalation so far. In terms of war predictions, and I've been, flying to Australia the last day, yesterday, over 14, 15 hours, 2 flights I had to catch to do a community trading event here in Gold Coast. I was informing myself a lot in terms of the war. Iran is very much prepared right now if the war continues and escalates. And they said they will attack infrastructure in the GCCs as much as the infrastructure will be attacked in Iran from US and Israel, right? Unfortunately, first day of ceasefire, Israel started to bomb Lebanon, and Iran said Lebanon needs to be also in the ceasefire, or captured by the ceasefire. Pakistan also says that. So let's see how that continues, but it looks very, very fragile. So therefore, I would be very careful. Still, metals I see very neutral. If war continues or if war stops, metals still have the most upside. That's why I'm betting a lot on metals, number one, and of course energy, right? XLE is the only position that I closed just for some time, just to see how it reacts. We had a sharper sell-off of 4 or 5%. So I closed this position just to see how it continues. I continue to be very bullish on GLNG because the gas infrastructure is still destroyed and it will take years for it to come back. So I'm still long gas, which of course is energy. And the same thing goes for some stocks, right? As you guys know, I'm still focused on more on fundamentally strong stocks that I'm buying, like CRCL, for example. I'm still long Microsoft, I'm still long Hood, and I'm still long CRCL in terms of equities besides the metals, right? Because long-term plays just make sense in my opinion, right? Bitcoin is doing very, very well, of course, because of the risk-off event. Unfortunately, we hit stop loss last week. In the update, we spoke about it, that I'm entering a sell, and I entered the sell. Unfortunately, got a stop loss of minus 30%. That's completely okay. In my opinion, it would have continued to go down and into profit if there would have been no ceasefire, but we got a ceasefire, so now we need to see. If the ceasefire continues and leads into peace talks, very, very bullish for crypto and Bitcoin. And I called official buy anyways here. So since the official buy that I call, we're currently up 6%. And then of course the position short-term trade got stop loss break even. Right now I'm not buying or selling. We are somewhere in the mid zone. If you take the correction level Fibonacci, you will still see we are a little bit above the sell order or sell area. Excuse me. So we need to see how that continues, right? Entering into a buy or sell here makes no sense right now, especially if you don't have open positions and you are looking into opening positions. I think the only position to open is metals, energy, but with crypto and stocks, I would still be very, very careful if you don't have already entries, right? Because it's just like very difficult to say. You could bet on a peace agreement and therefore a rally in the market, but at the same time, it could also continue. And we need to at least wait for the peace talks that start today in Pakistan, in between the US and Iran, and see how that goes. If there's any positive news, of course, it will promote upside in the market. If not, then very cautious, because it will then open with a bigger gap towards Monday, with a loss in the S&P, with loss in stocks. And the same thing for crypto, right? Besides that, anything else that I'm looking at right now, I still have all of my energy and my gas, or energy/gas positions open, my metal positions open. XPT is one that I'm looking a lot into, as you guys know, which is platinum. Platinum is very discounted compared to gold and therefore also silver, but especially towards gold. Platinum has a very big shortage. It's very much hated right now. We have very, very low prices. If you see, we are pretty far away from the last all-time high, which is currently around 30%. We are perfectly reacting in the 50% bullish correction level, and we are seeing upside and a bullish sequence. So I'm scaling in a lot into platinum. Platinum is one of my largest positions right now. Many positions, but this one is the single largest in terms of volume and how much I have invested into it, right? I have a 2x leverage position on, I have a call option on, I have spot on. So very much scaling into platinum because just how discounted it is. Besides that, nothing really interesting in the market. Of course, going back to this one, we need to be careful and waiting. There is bullish potential and there is bullish confirmation so far. Upside, down, stabilizer. So we are stabilizing in terms of the downside and more towards the upside. Soft retail actively were relatively sudden yesterday with total buying. Okay, so retail started to buy a lot, close to 200 million in volume, which is also good. And then, of course, the volatility index dropped a lot, therefore oil dropped a lot. So volatility index low is pretty good for the markets. So again, guys, it is very, very shaky. We need to be careful when it comes to that, and we need to continue to be ready for continuous peace talks and ceasefire, and therefore a big upside, but also being very cautious, because if it breaks, if there's one attack, if there's one little fragile thing, or in general it's very fragile, that breaks, then we continue towards the downside. So I'm still short SPX just because I'm stuck in my position, very much in drawdown. That is okay. Bitcoin, I'm not doing anything. I'm longing gold, I'm longing silver, I'm longing XPT, which is platinum, so metals long, and energy long, especially when it comes to energy. As you guys know, I love to be long on XLE, which I temporarily just closed just to see how it continues, just to manage a little bit of drawdown, because I had a 3x leverage XLE position open. That one I closed, and also the spot one I was still in profit, just to see, okay, how are we doing in the future, right? But besides that, still very long on energy. So nothing changed in terms of thesis. Metals long, energy long, and you should do your own due diligence and look for your entries. I told you of some of my positions. I'm not fully in the market yet. I still have a lot of cash sitting on my account. I'm still waiting for more confirmation. Why would I expose myself too much to risk right now, right? My portfolio right now is long on energy, long on metals, which is long term anyways, can survive the war even if the war continues. If the war continues, it maybe even promote that. But besides that, I'm not really scaling in heavily into the market. So with that being said, guys, make sure to follow my trading account on Instagram. I do daily market updates as much as I can. Daily would be a lie, but I try, because especially with a lot of traveling and all of these kind of things, it's sometimes a little bit difficult. But I let you know anyways all the time over there, and keep you updated during the week, because as you know, these updates are once a week. So with that being said, see you in the next one. Comment if you have any questions. Long energy, long metals, cautious on equities besides strong fundamental plays, and of course risky assets. Wait for a little bit more confirmation, in my opinion. See you in the next one.